Hello everyone! Welcome to this channel. This time, we would like to show you places that look as if they have been taken out of a fantasy novel. Unrealistic places, making you forget that you are on Earth. You may feel like you are in the world of a fantasy, like Tolkien's Middle-earth, or even on some other planet. Are you interested in these places? Well, let's begin. Panani Coast. Have you ever heard of a story in the Old Testament which says at the time of the Exodus, the Red Sea divided to allow the Hebrews led by Moses to safely cross the waters so that they could escape from Pharaoh's pursuit? Modern scholars consider this story as a beautiful legend, and when you ask believers, many of them say it is a parable. However, just recently, this seems to have been revived by unknown power. Devastating floods hit the state of Kerala in India in 2018. According to some experts, this was the worst flooding in the last 100 years, affecting hundreds of people and inflicting damage estimated at millions of dollars. However, when the waters receded, people saw what could be called a blessing in disguise. Yes, the coastline changed, the sea split open, and a long narrow sandbar came on the scene. When people walk along the sandbar, which is called Ponani Beach, it looks as if the sea were divided. The cause of this phenomenon remains unknown. Prehakova Cave. If you go to Bulgaria, Prehakova Cave is a must-see. This cave is located only 100 kilometers from Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, a small country in Eastern Europe, and it's not too difficult to reach by car. The Prehakova Cave is a karstic cave that lies at the highest place in Bulgaria, but the most exciting part to see is different. There are two holes on the ceiling of the cave whose shapes resemble eyes. When looking up at these from directly below, you feel like there is even a nose and a mouth on the ceiling, and that you are being looked at by a giant face. Locals call these holes the Eyes of God, or Devil's Eyes. This may be a bit of a stimulating view for those with a weak heart. Even people who have been suffering from paranoid disorder for years say they have never felt like they were being watched so much as they did there. Horsetail Falls. The Scenic Yosemite National Park is located in the state of California, the United States of America. One of the most beautiful places in the park is on the eastern face of a rocky mountain called El Capitan. Approaching this rocky mountain at just the right angle, you can see a huge river of fire cascading down the slope. It looks like a volcanic eruption or a river of scorching molten metal flowing out of a fantasy land. Of course, there are no games here, so don't expect to join the rough and tumble bearded men for a glass of beer. Rivers of Fire is an event caused by an optical illusion and can be seen when the sunset colors Horsetail Falls. It is a very rare phenomenon that occurs only a few days in February, and you can see them only when the weather conditions are perfect, i.e., the sky is clear and the falls are not frozen. Spotted Lake. In the state of British Columbia, Canada, there is a lake called Quirk, also known as Spotted Lake. When the lake evaporates almost completely in summer, the colourful mineral strata at the bottom of the lake is revealed. But that is not the only attraction of this lake. The puddles that remain at the bottom of the lake give it a unique charm. The puddles are almost circular, like multicoloured polka dots. It looks as if a giant abstract painter had used the exposed bottom of the lake as a canvas and filled it with the polka dots. Note that the Spotted Lake is sacred to the First Nations of Okanagan and requires permission from the chief to enter. Being the type of person who is triophobic, i.e. those afraid of a collection of holes, you may feel uncomfortable at the sight of the bottom of the lake filled with colourful holes. Blood Pond Hell. Presumably you have heard of the legend of Elizabeth Bathory, the Countess of Blood. Bathory was an aristocrat in the Kingdom of Hungary and is said to have resided in the castle of Chait in present-day Slovakia and bathed in the vital blood of maidens in order to preserve her youth. That said, some modern historians believe that this story is a hoax to demean Bathory and that she was in fact quite a different person. If Elizabeth Bathory really was the Countess of Blood, she would have been delighted with the Blood Pond Hell in Beppu City, Japan. While some people in the Middle Ages believed it to be filled with real blood, it is not, of course. Actually, it is merely ordinary water containing large amounts of iron oxide and magnesium oxide. Stones in the pond are also stained red due to centuries of exposure to hot water. As a matter of fact, it is not recommended to get in the Blood Pond Hell, because the temperature of the pond is approximately 78 degrees Celsius and there is a risk of getting burned. As one would expect, the name of the Blood Pond Hell is no exaggeration. If you really want to get in, you can use the footbath on the premises. This might be a good place to shoot a horror movie. Shilin Scenic Area. Shilin Yi Autonomous County in Yunnan Province, the People's Republic of China, is known as the place where the world's strangest rocks gather. You will find the landscape reminiscent of surrealist paintings by artists such as Salvador Dali. It is a fantastical view, as if bizarre creatures and trees that appear in extremely strange dreams turn to stones in the blink of an eye. The stone forest began to be generated approximately 250 million years ago. This was when the area was still at the bottom of the sea. It is said that the soft limestones on the sea floor appeared as the water decreased and were exposed to wind and rain, as well as the ebb and flow of the tide for millions of years, resulting in such strange silhouettes. Such strange stone forests existed across the geological eras and are still here today. Even dinosaurs may have seen this historic stone forest. The bridge built for Rama. Having started this video from India, we would also like to close with India. In the ancient Indian epic poem Ramayana, there is an interesting anecdote. The greatest Indian hero Rama was at outs with the demon king Ravana on the island of Lanka, which is now Sri Lanka. At one point in time, the demon king Ravana abducted Rama's wife, Sita. Rama organized an army against Ravana, but his army was unable to cross to the island. Then, Vanara, a monkey tribe allied with Rama, brought many floating stones and built a bridge across the strait, separating Lanka and India. Ram Setu, Rama's bridge, a long chain of fords connecting the continent and the island, is said to have been created in this way. Ram Setu, also called Adam's Bridge in Europe, looks as if it were made up of islands scattered artificially. Considering that the Dutch in the Middle Ages were able to hold coastal territories, there would be no reason why the kings of ancient India, who had far more resources, could not do the same thing. It was not monkeys but ordinary human beings who built this bridge, of course, and if so, we are even more amazed at their efforts. Rama's bridge is said to have been passable on foot or by horse until the 15th century. It can be said that this is a feat of human power, comparable to the pyramids of Egypt. Meanwhile, some believe that Ram Setu was formed naturally. That said, even experts have no idea how it was generated. That's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Of course, there are other fantastical places in addition to the ones we have introduced here. Can you name any of these spectacular places? We look forward to hearing from you in the comment section. We would love to feature them the next time we make a video on this topic. Let's enjoy traveling and share our views. Goodbye for now. See you again. Bye.